Hello again, welcome back to another daily Binding of Isaac Repentance. Happy Mother's Day to you all. Hopefully you're having a good Mother's Day. Looks like we're going to Mom's Heart here, and we got like a curated run. Sorry, my throat's a little hoarse right now. Might get better pretty soon. But yeah, I'm doing all right. I did some recording earlier for, what do you call it? The Vampire Survivors. That's right. So that's that, and this video, and the next video is going to be uploaded pretty soon. I decided not to eat today because I just didn't have the time and stuff, and it's not a big deal. It's kind of a quick fast thing. Because if I eat too late, then it's going to cause some issues. A little bit of gas and whatever. So I'll eat it straight in the morning instead. Go for a run and, yeah, have some fun, I guess, with that. Because my last run went pretty well yesterday. My weights are going to be coming in, too. I got some new weights coming in. 25 pounds, 2 of them. Because I need something to where it's like, it's not taking up too much space on my bar. And also I can reserve my other stuff. My, my other weights for my hand weight stuff, my adjustable barbells. That's what it is. Did I give up the dice, or did it just start with Mom's pad? I think maybe I started with Mom's pad here. Now, what do I want here? I think out of the 3 of these, we'll take Book of Revelations. Because I don't know how this run's going to be today. I don't know if I ever played a Mother's Day run before. Like on a daily. I might have last year with Repentance. Because I did some dailies off and on, but I was also doing a bunch of unlocks. Is it just going to be mom-based theme items here for the most part? Man, a lot of tinted rocks. A lot of interesting stuff here. Mom's foot. Okay. That's pretty cool. I haven't, like, touched the Xbox in a few days either. So, like, I know I keep talking about streaming and stuff, but I've been just kind of busy and catching up on sleep and everything else, so. I'm hoping tomorrow I'm going to do some streaming. It's been about a week since I did some of that, so. If you're guys interested in the streams, I apologize. I just, I've been fairly busy. So, well, let's try that. So hopefully, it's not going to be much of an issue. Once I get started with it. I'm just a little bit burnt out from the Dark Souls stuff. Not Dark Souls, I'm sorry. Elden Ring. Like, I don't have a problem with Elden Ring. It's just that when you play a lot, then you get kind of tired of it eventually, and you kind of burn out. Kind of like when I was playing a lot of New Vegas. And then I was using mods to try to make the game, like, extend more, but then it just got kind of boring because I was too powerful, and that tends to happen. And, of course, this is what happened with NG Plus stuff. Now, to argue with that, I guess, to put an argument with it, I could start a new run. I could do like a totally different class, be like a warlock class or something, but I don't know. Like it'd probably be more fun. Like I won't be as powerful. It'd be a challenging experience again, once again. But I want to try something fresh. I'm going to go back to Elden Ring someday, so I can complete getting the rest of those talismans and all those side quest stuff and whatever else. As long as I don't forget to do this and that in specific orders and not have the one of the side characters die for the millionth time. It was a year ago today, by the way. I went to see Mortal Kombat in theaters. I was like the only one in the theaters watching the movie too. Because it was still that whole COVID thing and people were worried about it and stuff. And that was back when the whole face mask thing was going on in the theaters too and stuff. And I watched that film, and then I watched Jigsaw, I think, before or after that movie came out. Before or after I went to see Mortal Kombat. The Saw one, they had people in there, some people, but then this one on Mother's Day, the Mortal Kombat, I was like the only one. How was all the people at? I don't know if I would take my mother out to see Mortal Kombat if that was an option. You're like, no, I don't want to watch a violent movie. She'd probably be more interested in like a Disney film or something, because I think the Cruella film was out at the time, right? I have like heard nothing about it ever since it got released. Okay, we're recording, right? I gotta double check there. I never heard anything about it. I guess I don't watch television, do I? Where it's like they promote that stuff. It's like, oh, this is the best film or whatever. Or I'm watching like E! Entertainment or something weird. I guess I've kind of insulated myself from like listen to like reviews and stuff from people and companies talking about that kind of thing. That's probably why I never heard anything about it. Also, I just realized there's no item rooms. How about that? Well, I went back here for like nothing. Okay. Go down the next floor. It's gonna be a short run. I can feel it in my bones. I think for Mother's Day, I made my mom it was like a wooden heart that I had cut out. And it was in woodshop class, middle school. And it was painted red and had my name on there. And I think it had some other stuff too. But I remember giving that to my mom for Mother's Day. And then I don't know what else I gave her after that or before that. It's kind of a blur, but I remember that very thing. I think she liked it. I think she liked it enough to where she kept it. Because if she didn't like it, she'd probably toss it or something. It was a pretty good heart. I liked it. It's not often I use like, you know, wood cutting tools and stuff and sanding tools to like get things organized. Like I've made something much bigger than that years later out of wood shop class, and yeah, it's like wood shop class and like even metal class. I'm like welding and stuff. Like at first when I was doing welding, it scared the crap out of me. Because, you know, the arc flashes where it's like, well, not arc flashes, but it's like, you can blind yourself, you can blind somebody else if you're not very careful, and that's why there's like these special screens, and then you also have to check to see if the face shield is like in order, so you're not gonna blind yourself. And the trigger is like very sensitive, and then you have to like point it at a certain angle so you're not gonna like sizzle your hair, which I did a couple of times. Things like that. Oh, I made sure like the what's it, the arginine? It's like this gas or something. Used to light the fire. Or the flame thing or whatever. Along with like everything else. You have to just make sure you don't twist it all the way. You have to turn it for like, or depending, I guess, what you're using and what kind of container it's in. You have to turn the valve like a turn and a half. Twist it like 1.5 turns or whatever. The reason why I was sizzling my hair a couple of times is because I was trying to do it at an angle, and that wasn't working too well. Another thing I had to do too is ground the darn metal pieces and stuff to like a metal table looking thing, so I don't electrocute myself. Just a bunch of different things. And of course I was kind of nervous as hell to, you know, using a welding gun and then like making sure I don't like electrocute myself or freaking burn myself. Another thing too, like we had to wear like special gear, of course, like cotton, like clothing and stuff, so we don't catch on fire. That's another fun one. And we learned about the basics about the tack welding and everything else. Now, I never used a plasma cutter because I didn't have to do it for this project, but some people had to. That's where you just basically cut things down, like metal and stuff. So my art piece with that was, what was that art piece called? So it was it was on these rollers, right? So they had wheels on them, and it's on this like frame, square frame, metal frame. It's got like a mirror. It's got these handles, and these handles are in front of the mirror. You're pushing it. That's it. Like there's not like anything special about it. It's just some functional art piece that has like not really a whole lot going on. The thing was big. It was kind of clumsy. You can hardly fit it out of most doors in the buildings, school buildings and stuff. So it wasn't really like, you know, awe-inspiring. It was my first like metal project. Some big old thing. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to build this thing. And I did it. Wood project, I made a giant like wooden apple thing, which I thrown out years ago because it's like, one, it was just whatever. Two, it was just clunky and big and I didn't want to carry that. And three, it's just like, I don't really have a place to put it, to be honest with you. It's just gonna be in the way. Like, if I still had that thing here, like, I would have barely any room for it, and then I would have barely any room for, like, other stuff. Like, it was a big apple. It wasn't some dinky thing. And that whole project was supposed to be some... And I've talked about it in other episodes previously. But this whole, like, politicalizing, like... art pieces and stuff like that, and kind of restricting your creativity. And so for me, I had a hard time coming up with something political. And so I just made like an apple with GMO, and that was it. Like, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna just make up something, I guess. And so I did that. And because that was it. It was just whatever. I think after a while I got used to like the metal work to where I feel more comfortable with it. Cause like you don't want to, I mean, I think a lot of people would agree, like some people would agree that working with like welding guns and stuff like that and getting all the right things and not burning and electrocuting yourself can be a little scary if you've never used something like that before. I even used a machine that would cut metal. And I have to oil it and put water in there too to lubricate it, otherwise it could just jam the blades. I played with that a little bit. And then in another class, I was playing with hydrochloric acid. That was exciting. I accidentally dumped a little bit of it on a desk thing. Not like a wooden desk, but it was like some kind of desk thing. And it was sizzling. Like it wasn't like super bad or anything, but like if I dumped any more, it could have been probably an issue. Now, fortunately for me, okay, for that class, that wasn't a metals class or anything like that, so it's not like I'm using like a bunch of it. It's like a small vial of the stuff, and the whole purpose was mixing together with another compound, so that way when you mix it together, it creates a totally different element, and that's used for like some printmaking stuff. Because I was using like very sophisticated limestone, like bars from like overseas. That means I had to sand it down and make sure I don't crack it and drop it or anything weird. So that was like probably the most dangerous part out of that one. And then the next part of the class was like, silk screen. And that one, there's a couple of dangerous parts in that. So the first one is like a power hose. You want to make sure you don't aim it directly on the screen. You have to aim it away from the screen and do a kind of a, you know, back and forth motion on there, so you don't pierce the screen. You also got to be careful not to, you know, direct that thing onto anybody, because that can like pierce their skin and whatever else. And then there was a type of scanner thing. But you have to not look at any reflections from the light from it, or directly at the light at all. Otherwise, you can blind yourself. So there's that fun one. And then I had to use like harsh chemical stuff to like clean the screens too, so there's that. And then finally, there's another part of that portion where it's like using metal plates, copper metal plates, and that required etching it through like different chemical processes for different grades of like whatever. That one I sucked the most out of, because like the other art pieces wasn't so bad, but like that one was the worst, because like there's so many ways you can screw it up. And mine just ended up like just too dark in a lot of places, and you have to put it in there after so long for certain baths in order to get certain like etching. And then the pain in the butt of like using a cheesecloth to use, and you have to damper the plate with this special kind of black ink. And then you have to like rub it with 3 different cheesecloths in a certain circular pattern, and that took forever. Because you can't wash it off, because that stuff sticks. And that, and like, you don't want to wash it off, because that's going to ruin the ink processing too, so there's that. But in middle school, with wood class, I think it was a different name for wood class. It was like something else, but like, there was this story about this kid. I think it's an example of a kid, and this kid's been used a lot. So I don't think it was like an actual kid that was in the school. Otherwise, that kid would have been dead like hundreds of times, based on the stories we're supposed to be learning about. Talking about like this kid had their hair wrapped up in a machine and ripped the scalp off and everything. That's just very gruesome stuff. Or having their hand cut or drilled or whatever else. That's why like the women had to like put their hair up, and then everybody had to put their clothes like, you know, have short sleeves on, so you don't get your hand caught in the machine and rip your arm apart. I do recommend like home ec kit classes for like kids and stuff like that, because it teaches them how to build things and, you know, expand their kind of environment of learning. I remember taking a home ec class in middle school too. We did a little bit of cooking, just a tiny bit, but we did a lot of sewing. So we made little things, and I still got some stuff, like a gym bag I made. Like the whole purpose of a gym bag, the reason why we made them is because, you know, the gym days we have to, you know, have gym clothes and stuff like that. Otherwise you get marked up. But I think that was the big reason why we had to make them, is because like maybe not too many kids had like a thing of their own, so they could just make their own instead of having to look for a way to buy one or use plastic sacks. But that, and it was an assignment too, so there was that. Though they did have a thing, which I think it might be just like a volunteer thing, like an optional thing, or I did not like how that screen just cut out like that. What was that about? How's my stats looking? Skipped frames earlier. I don't know what that was. 1600 skipped frames. Okay. All right, we just got a bunch of just stuff there. Like I can't really tell you like at all what I learned in home ec class for cooking and stuff. I can tell you little things about sewing, but there's only very little I can remember of that too. Same thing when I was in cooking class in high school. We were learning about how to properly set up a table, like different spoons and forks and knives, like a bunch of them. And I think we got tested on that, and of course I passed, but like now I forgot completely what the heck I'm supposed to do. Like when I was at a restaurant last week, a fairly fancy restaurant, they had two different forks. One was the larger one than the other, and I guess from what I was told, the smaller one is meant for like salads. And then I guess the waiter accidentally took my large fork, so all I had was a salad fork for my steak. And like the knife that came with it, the sharp knife. But thankfully he left the sharp knife there, but like I probably really didn't need the big fork, to be honest with you. Like, a fork's a fork. I get it. It's larger. It's meant for, like, putting more meat on there, but, like, I wasn't too picky. Now, if I was left with a butter knife to cut up my steak, that's going to be a problem. Where are you? Come on. Stop moving. Thank you. But yeah, going back with the middle school thing, like, there was some kind of a program. I never volunteered for it, but it was like the whole baby monitoring thing. It's like a special doll that would cry after, you know, certain time or whatever, and it could be found out whether the baby's been mistreated or something. I just didn't do it because I heard the stories about that thing. It's just like wonky and so sensitive and whatever. I get it. Infants are sensitive. But I don't know, like, I guess at the time I thought this thing was like so sensitive, like it would just like not shut up. Be like a crying raccoon or something. Like baby raccoon. Like, wah, wah, wah. I get it.
Puberty.
Ah, I didn't expect the boss room to be here. I'm just kind of randomly go over here to see if it was a dead end. Sure enough, it wasn't. Alright, we got this guy. Bombs are going to help us a lot, maybe. We can just push it in there. We'll just take that with us, just in case. Very fast run. Very good run. My mother used to make me, like, meals to go to school with and stuff growing up. And of course they're pretty good. I mean, it beats a lot of the lunchroom food and stuff. Though I wish I could have just appreciated the walking taco stuff. Like, I was so picky back then, and after having like a Taco Bell Doritos Locos Taco stuff, it's like, oh my goodness. And then I had my own taco in a bag before, and I was like, oh my goodness, I missed out so much. Stuff is good.
The forgotten.
Oh, just for that run room? Interesting. So yeah, I mean, that's something nice about making something for your mother and all that. Like, especially when you're a kid, you just feel kind of proud you made something for her. You feel appreciated. Make her feel appreciated. And it's, yeah, it's Mother's Day. Can you believe it? I think Father's Day is in June, isn't it? I think it is. Maybe we missed it. I think it's June.
Soul of Isaac.
Okay, what do we get here? 349th place. Well, there's a lot of competition today, that's for sure. Anyways, thanks for watching, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.